Hello and welcome back to another episode of Wars: The Black Prince. I continued the game. We're doing well overall. We have continued to upgrade most of the relevant weapons to level 3, some to level 4 already. Currently, I'm at the upgrade of all of the armors, just barely starting with that. So still more to do. Let's start to give you a short update. The gunner apparently for me is not implemented in this version, so can't really speak much about the class, unfortunately. You can see in terms of superior, the only thing that we do have left is the crossbow, and then to offense the dirk and the shield, both of which I'm going to do soon. Other than that, the main weapon categories were upgrading daggers at the moment and great swords. And then I think the crossbow is really, oh yeah, and the one-handed sword. But the crossbow is really the only thing that's, other than one-handed swords, that isn't upgraded. Just slowly but surely getting there. And equally, you can see we're going to get armor upgraded as well. So naturally, when we are that far in the game, I'm starting to experiment. So the first and second team have already reached their capacity. If you look at it, and we're just using level descending, we do have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16 out of 18 characters are level 7, and both Kilavar and Darkrai are very, very close to level 7. You can see one more mission, like literally one more mission, and then they are done. Which means those guys pretty much done for. Still need to send them on one mission, but we are pretty much done for with the teams. We got 2 quote-unquote standard teams and then a team of misfits, which I think overall work very well. But you can see they all got more or less very similar, if not the exact cookie cutter template builds that we've used for a while. So really that works, and we've proven that it works. So I moved on to something else, which is I hired a couple of newcomers and just want to run you through the logic. Unfortunately, you can't put people together in a squad of sorts or a little strike team. So basically what I did is I used the color coding in the game and put a red, a gray, and a yellow team together with 3 very distinct features. I figured put a unique weapon in each of them and basically build a team or an identity around that unique weapon. And for the red team, that unique weapon is going to be the Morning Star or Morning Stern, and together the offhand shield. So both of these weapons would be, quote unquote, from a meta perspective, likely not weapons that I would use normally, because typically offhand shields in this game, specifically the heavier shields, do not offer that much benefit. However, I figured might as well see if my read of the game is correct at the moment, and we're just doing something else. So we have a main tank, basically Red 3 here, who's leading the team. And I figured might as well put a second tank there, a duelist, who is mainly working with one hand and shield, so a dodge tank. And you can see the 2 sets here. This time use the strongest damage one-hand weapon, which would be the axe, also AoE strike capabilities and bleeding, and the sword really mainly for avoidance tanking. So we do have a super strong frontline. And now one of the things that I didn't like in the game so far was its quick alpha striking. So I figured let's tune down the damage of the remaining guys as much as possible. and use some crowd controlling instead. So we're using a bow with our player in this area, but I want to use their hands, and I basically don't want to alpha strike too much. We're using 2 Beastmasters, but both of them are using non-upgraded crossbows, so really limited DPS. The bears, however, help with the front line a bit. And then finally red 1 with a little bit of poison and another bow from the backline. So we do have 4 ranged users and 2 tanks, but are trying to not use AoE damage too much. And so far this team plays very well. So that's identity number 1. Then we do have identity number 2, which is around the yellow team. And with the yellow team, I thought I wanted to do something completely different. So Ender Sanders is leading said yellow team here. I figured, why wouldn't we kind of overload the melee portion a little bit more? So Ender is running in with 2-hand hammer, and then we put yellow 5 in there, his buddy, so to speak, who's going to go in with a sword. So 2-hand weapon guys in the front, and then on top of that, we're using a duelist with a halberd trait, so triple dual weapon hammer for highest single target damage and removal of armor. Then we got the sword for best overall damage because of the no cooldown triple attack for adjacent characters. And then we got the halberd for highest damage in the game for people that are adjacent. So that's the identity. We're filling this up with a little bit of, say, lone wolf and long shot so that we can reach the back line, because it feels to me that the front line might be a little bit clustered, specifically since we're adding in another bear, as well as another like frontline hunter. This is not a throwing axe, but a normal weapon. And then finally, a little bit of healing. Put some incense on the alchemist so that we also have AoE healing and just weakening of opponents. The idea of this team is to damage overload, so even the rest of the front line with this Beastmaster here is using the axe, so strongest possible damage. Might as well equip the shiv as the second weapon. So the idea really is those guys AoE damage and melee in, and just overload the enemy. And then the third team, the gray team, going to be led by Arethus. And the idea of the gray team was we're going to use status effects. Now granted, maybe that is not as much possible, but hear me out. We are going to use this unique dagger that we found. A very interesting weapon that deals surprise damage and increases critical skills hit crit chance. On top of that, chance to poison on top of all of the other additional effects, and a couple of cool hits. So I figured the core of this team really should be kind of Grey 4, which is a dual dagger wielding character. And what would be cooler than to have another dual dagger wielding character? Again, poisoning option, and then we would have poison here, so that's already stacking poison twice. Then we do have a ranger with AoE, poison and burning, so more status effects there. And then for the front line, I figured we do have a bit of AoE with the halberd, and we do have a bit of armor removal with the hammer. So really kind of a damage focused team. And finally, for our alchemist, we do have again focused on poison. Unfortunately, you can't give him other weapons, so the weapon limitations really make it difficult to fully focus on one thing. The idea here would be that we do have a couple of backstabbers that go in neatly, and I wanted one of these characters, for instance, later to also have the enlightenment skill so that they can more easily dive in and out. Here we do have we do not have disengage yet, so that will happen later. Don't want to make it a complete duelist. The idea really was easy pickings from the back, parried in case we are being held down, and then just quick damage with the dagger, and just basically dealing as much damage and status effects as we can. So those are the three teams, and I figured we might give it a spin. Today's mission that I wanted to run you through is an escort mission where we are playing the latter team, the gray team, and I want to use the next few episodes to basically have each of those teams maybe in 2 appearances, so that we're seeing a couple new skills, a couple new combinations. There's an actual idea behind what I'm doing. It's not just mad scientists or rambling. Whenever I reach the point in a game where, quote unquote, in the end game, where I'm seeing what is possible and what isn't possible, then I'm typically starting to experiment. This is the foundation of how all of my guides are being done, because in order to give someone a reasonable suggestion what is good and what works well, you cannot just say, I completed the game with these and these builds, and therefore these builds are the best. You don't know. So unless you want to play through the game multiple times, it might be a good idea to simply have different teams, really test out everything that you can, and then you can have a vested and hopefully objective opinion about it and suggest what the good, bad, and ugly skills are. Let's jump into the game and see how the gray team is doing. All right, so we landed. Let's take a look. It's one of those missions where we have already engaged the enemy, so we gotta be really careful not to overdo it. Problem with this team will be that we're not having a whole lot of DPS. Okay, these guys are relatively weak, but they have a couple of ranged characters, so still gotta be careful. So yeah, the whole daggers, I still need to find a better way of using them. I would say I like the weapon, however,
very well.
It is noticeable that the DPS is not automatically on par with other weapons. And that's generally not a problem if, in my perspective, there's a bit of a trade-off. You do have high DPS weapons, and then you do have weapons that have utility. Say the hammer, for instance, has a little bit less DPS than the halberd or the greatsword.
On the move.
Simply by the virtue of it not hitting multiple targets in the maximum leveled version. The hammer, I would argue, has potentially the most single target DPS with the overhand smash. But the hammer comes with a lot of
ready when you are.
Utility, such as providing a huge will boost, so you are less affected by status effects, and then on top of it providing the armor reduction. And although I might be too much of a sucker for armor reduction, I still think it is ultra valuable, because if you do have, say, 1 or 2 of these guys that are using Fortress and are buffing everybody with armor, and all of a sudden you have a set of enemies that's coming in with, say, 4 armor each, and you need a solution for that. Anyways, let's focus on the combat here, shall we? So we can hit a couple of them. going in aggressively because it's not going to be a long fight. One is poisoned, that's not too bad.
At your command.
Can't really reach the backline, which is a bit disappointing, I will say.
Very well.
Getting there as close as possible. And let's, for starters, make sure that you are grounded. So this guy is taken out. Could have maybe taken the other one because he is killable, but he potentially deals less damage, so either way is fine. Bit of free poison. Unfortunately, this guy resisted, and we're barely out of range. We'll wait with our last shot.
At your service.
Okay, so the backline is poisoned. Now it's a matter of
Yes.
who can we reach. We could reach over here.
I'm ready.
Fair enough. It's a bit wasteful to use concoction for just one guy, and the reason why I'm so particular on the whole, oh, he's engaged in melee. Well, then the routing was a stupid idea. The whole reason why I'm so particular on the who's what thing is. If they are poisoned, then this is an automatic 100% crit. Okay, not even that. This guy is just putting on his Neo reflexes from Matrix. We attacked him 6 times and he dodged 4 of them.
Ready when you
I'll
are.
leave that not further commented because that's a pretty insane dodge streak.
Yes.
I think we're just going to hit up the back line. That was a good hit. Beast Hunter, Apothecary, both of them
I won't
are
disappoint you.
poisoned now. One, two, three, four, five, just barely not making it.
At your service.
I am thinking, how do we get to the back line?
Yes.
At your command.
And the answer is likely with a charge. Very nice. Okay, so he's down to 21. We still could get the Apothecary onto us, or we're really focusing down one target. And I think that focusing down one target is the key here. That's the type of kill that I was looking for. 21 points of damage, so he's dead. Apothecary will stay. That still is pretty much intact, unscathed, one would say.
I won't disappoint you. Mage justice be served.
That was a really, really good hit, and is potentially a kill. Alright, so at least
Yes.
that's done. We still got Haunting, which I think might be the right way to go in order to prevent this guy from accessing our backline. Attack from behind, ignores armor.
Just warming up.
There's the taunt, and we're staying with our shield and sword because it means we maximized our dodge. This guy's dead, this guy's dead, and we still have 3
At your command. On the
of
move.
the enemies. Not as good of a turn as I wanted it to be, but to be fair, we also were like plenty unlucky, barely not making the move. So barely not reaching targets from time to time. And then in other situations, like dodging multiple times.
Damnation!
Oh, what? Are you kidding me? They killed the bear?
Ready when you are.
At your service.
At your command.
Okay, that was unexpected. Taunted this guy and waiting with the others.
Yes. Let's go.
Going to the back of him.
Die.
Increased crit. I mean, the daggers from behind are doing what they're supposed to do, which is dealing a lot of damage.
Yes?
Good. We need to deal with all of the armor here, and we need to deal with this guy. Idea to deal with this guy is we're just charging in, knocking him prone. He resisted that. There we go. Got some taunted going. Which means in return, we are finally behind him.
Just warming up.
Okay,
I'm ready. I'll get in
he's
position.
almost dead. Can't believe that they killed the
Yes.
bear that easily. This guy struck twice, and that was pretty much about it. Straight up taunt him.
At your command.
Let's get some DPS support. It's not a lot, but the VIP effectively helps as well. Getting the lone wolf bonus. Okay. Round 2. Round 2, and he is missing everything. So we don't need to taunt him.
At your command.
Yes.
They're healing, and that also gives us haste.
I won't fail you.
And let's go. Unfortunately, our main tank and scout there is gone.
At your command.
Don't like it. Don't like it at all. The daggers
That's your
are
service.
doing fine, but we also gotta keep in mind that the daggers effectively are still needing to
My
level
blade
up.
is yours.
If you do have a weapon and at the very beginning stages you're just having the base skill, then that of course is way worse than having a fully leveled up weapon. Weapon skill matters quite a bit, I noticed.
On my way.
It just gives you more flexibility.
If it moves, I'll shoot.
Enemies, how far can they go?
Yes.
At your service. I'll hold this position.
Let's see what the enemy are actually capable of. Okay. Oh, another one. I hate perfect shot. It makes it so
Ready to
difficult
go?
At your command.
to work around those long range shots.
I'll get in position.
Getting into position over here, and can we hit 3 is the question. The answer is no. 15%, wow, yes, 20%.
This might hurt.
Okay,
Ready when you
seems
are.
about right. Free fire damage. Doc is taking 21 points of damage so far.
Very well.
Dog is dead, which means we are taunting. You, because we have a high chance of taunting you. And I also don't want to deal with the Beastmaster. The dog is dead,
Ready to go.
which now means we gotta exit the back line. Which we are going to do.
You're mine.
One hit. Come on, give me that
Dodge
crit. Nope.
At your command.
My blade is yours.
One hit. And another one. Finally got him taunted. Attacking a bit from behind, you can see that he has some nice armor. I was about to say that we're going to find a way around that. Double dodge. I don't know what's happening. We have 95% hit skills and we're just missing it from time to time. Which means we will need to let him go. And we're focusing on this guy here. I shouldn't have used coordinated strike. It's the same damage, but I could have used shift Instead, unfortunately, we don't have a taunt.
Yes?
So, yeah, that was a very poor round. Again, 3 dodges. That's a lot to deal with. The target priority was okay, but overall, the target priority was okay, but overall a bit problematic. Okay, well,
I won't disappoint you. Yes.
this guy is de facto dead. I'm just healing up because I can't really leave at the moment without provoking an attack. Hit.
Yes.
Come on, poison? No. This is bullshit. I don't know what to say, but
Ready to
the
go?
amount of
Dodge
him
that.
dodging is crazy. I do have an idea. How many hit points? 6. Likely doesn't work out. Full healing.
At your service.
Didn't taunt him.
God guides my hand.
This time it worked. Just want to make sure in case we are failing to get him down. Just trying my best to dish out enough damage. Yeah, that was not a crit. Down to 2 hit points,
Yes.
but we got one more ace in the hole. Wanted to use it in order to nail this guy down, but it's more beneficial to stand here. That provokes attacks of opportunity whenever he moves. Unless he of course attacks us, in which case I'm fine with that. Yeah, cool. One more round, gotta hurry.
Out of my way.
Yes.
At your command.
Deep breath.
He has a very low chance of getting affected, but that's not too bad.
I won't disappoint you. May justice be served. On the move.
Moving up.
Yes. Ready when you are.
Yes. Die.
Okay, he's dead. We're healing up.
Yes?
Does anybody still have a
At your command.
sub? Yes, we do. A bow.
At your service.
On my way. At your command. On the move.
It's going to be close.
Ready to go? Yes.
The few misses added up to become quite dangerous overall.
Ready when you are. Yes.
Just out of curiosity. We can't charge, never mind.
Yes?
Make it. Not good.
At your command.
Which means we're going to take potentially more damage.
On my way. Give up.
Even that guy resisted looting. Unbelievable.
At your command. Very well. I'll be quick to finish.
There's the poisoning.
Don't expect mercy.
And here is him being dead.
Yes?
Poisoning works very well, so gotta give credit where credit is due.
At your service.
Question that I'm asking myself is
Ready to go.
if we are just running out.
Yes.
Problem is grade 1, grade 5 would receive a mortal wound. I don't want that. So close. And there's also no one standing in the way, it's just can't make it.
At your
Failed to
command.
taunt, that's not great.
May justice be served.
Moving as close as possible to the exit.
I'll get in position.
Since we can't kill them, might as well heal up
That's better.
and
Perfect strike.
weaken at least a couple of them. Beastmaster moves up and we're going into defensive stance. It's not a great position by any means. And we need to move out next turn. It's just we're trying to survive. If they focus fire, we're effed. But here's the thing, we would have been effed either way.
Ready to go?
Okay, well,
You're mine.
we're just going to switch. Oh, we can't. Can we weaken him? We can regain an armor point. That's not a bad idea. This guy is out haunted. It's quite a bit of damage actually. Oh, okay, well that provokes further attacks. Don't like it.
Very well.
Yes? Consider it done.
Ready to
Good,
go.
and that provoked 0 attacks.
At your service.
At your command. Very well.
Yeah, the Grey Team will be out of charge for a while. Out of commission. Okay, we're good. We need to rework the tactics there a bit. I think weapon upgrades are going to be a bit more important. Losing the bear that early was definitely a problem. And I need to find a better way of working with around the daggers. Level 4 team, that was a bit rough. That was indeed a bit rough. It certainly didn't help that we did not have upgraded armor. Which we're now slowly but surely getting. Yeah, that we will stay out of battle for a while. Good. I'll do the next battle, I think, off screen again. Oh no, it's the yellow team. Well, we can do that in the next episode. I wanted to showcase a couple of different teams. The yellow team is damage overload with strong two-handed weapons. Let's see how that is doing compared to the daggers. The poison team, in theory, seems neat, but we had problems overcoming greater armor, so I might need to splice in a couple of options to remove armor. Let's see. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and see you all the next time. Bye bye.